Talking about the home seller pre-list home inspection. Like, would love to hear your thoughts on this.
In this market right now, we're hearing loads of sellers that are getting, thousands or tens of thousands of dollars over asking price on the offers on their house, which if you're selling a house, that's awesome for you. You're getting high dollars for the house that you're selling.
Yep.
But what can happen is just because you get that agreement to to sell your house for that number that makes you happy, sometimes that's actually not the number that you end up getting, because the buyer comes in, they do an inspection, and they find stuff wrong. And, a buyer now in this market, because they're paying over asking so much of the time, they're a little bit more aggressive when they're trying to ask for people to fix stuff or ask for concessions based on conditions that they find. So sometimes what you have is a seller, they list their house, they get a slew of offers right now because the inventory is so low, and so they take an offer that's in excess of their asking price and everything's going good. Home inspection happens, and now all of a sudden you got this buyer that's like, look, I paid over asking price. I gave them top dollar for this house. I want a top condition house. We found these things wrong. I want you to fix them, or I want you to give me money off the price of the house. Now your over asking price offer, your new negotiation could end up being under asking price. And if you had done the inspection as a seller, you could have fixed those items and then listed the house, or you could have disclosed those items and maybe still sold the house for the same amount of money, but it would have taken that chip off the table where the buyer's now asking you to make a concession. The pre-list inspection is huge in making sure that not only do you get a good amount for your house because you're making a super transparent disclosure, but you maintain that high level through the transaction because you're not going to get surprised after the buyer does their inspection. In a different climate where, where houses are going and there are offers under asking price, like you had, 4, 5, 6 years ago when, maybe inventory was a bit higher and the demand was a little lower, people had a little bit of a different mindset. Well, they asked $400,000, but I only paid $375 for the house. So I'm willing to overlook a few things because I feel as a buyer like I'm getting a good deal. But
Yep.
Right now, I feel like as a buyer, I'm having to pay through the nose because there's no houses out there, and I'm paying more than they're even asking for this house. So I need it to be perfect, and it's just how it is. When we do the pre-list home inspection, we're doing the same exact inspection that we're doing for a potential buyer for the seller, generating the same report and everything. So at that point, the seller can work with their agent, and I know that a lot of your sellers do the pre-list inspection. And, sellers are apprehensive because they're like, oh, you're going to find 47 things wrong with my house.
Yeah.
And maybe we will. But it's not like the seller now has a huge list of repairs that they have to do to unload their home. They just have a huge list of items to disclose, or a small list of items to disclose, depending on the condition of their house, naturally. But people are worried that, oh, what if you find something wrong? Now I'm going to have to disclose it. And I'm like, exactly. You're going to have to disclose it, and you don't have to fix it.